Hello, everyone. Today I thought that I would play the leg of the demo that I have released. So, if you don't know, I make visual novels and I release update videos. Like I make update videos every Monday about the progress that I'm making on them. And just recently, I finished the first third of the demo, and it doesn't sound like much, but it was quite a bit of work, quite a few images. I did some music. It was about like a little bit over 8,000 words. So I figured I should play it, and that would be cool. Uh, this game is like a little bit. Well, it's sort of like a personal story that's it's not exactly the kind of game that people would play on like a let's play for fun and like whoa crazy that's happening, like it's not like that kind of game. It's like more quiet and somber and stuff, but I still thought it would be cool just to let you guys know what I've been doing and stuff. uh but yeah, if you want to download it, it's in the description for free. And this is the first time I'm recording something like this in OBS. I applied some fancy filters, so that's nice, to the audio settings. That said, though, I honestly do have pretty loud neighbors, so there's only so much noise reduction and stuff can help with that. You might hear some slamming doors at some point, or like I'll probably edit that out, but just so you know. But all right, I guess let's get into it. Check this out, by the way. Oh, well, first of all, I just want to say I customized all the menus, like at least a little bit. They look kind of nice, in my opinion. I like the little bullet that I did. Uh, and let's do the doodly doodly doo. Oh, that's so cute. I like it. So I'm thinking that maybe in the future, I like will use this to signify that you're going down the route of a different heroine or something, like away from the other path that you were on. So that's what I'm thinking I'll use that sound for in game. But as for right now, it's just the sound test. Anyway, all right, geez, I have a bit of performance anxiety, and I've never really read stuff like this out before. But anyway, let's quit knocking and start rocking. Is that a thing people say? All right, let's do it. I like how well, I like how this picture turned out. Okay, let's stop avoiding it. Okay, let's go. My like weird, wacky energy is not very fitting to to this story. Anyway, this is a sandals off situation. I just turned to my sandals. I just took my sandals off. Okay. The world feels hazy. With closed eyes, I hear the sound of waves. After listening to the sound for some time, I become aware of my sense of touch and feel a hard surface against my face. I might misread stuff too. I do that sometimes. Let me just pull my chair in. Ah, this isn't me dreading the game. I like the story and everything. I just have performance anxiety. That's all this is. After listening to the sound for some time, I become aware of my sense of touch and feel a hard surface against my face. The surface feels compressed in some way, as though it's only hard because it's forced to be by other forces. But maybe I'm wrong. At the very least, I have a hazy feeling that to that effect. I try to open my eyes, but my vision's blurred and my eyes sting mildly when I do. Feeling like something's in my eyes, I move a weak arm to rub them with the back of my hand. As I do, small grains of sand fall from both my hand and the closed eyes. That didn't do much. I'm so tired. As I feel this way, I also start to feel hot and cold at the same time, as though I have some sort of cold or fever. I let out a groan and immediately cough as I do so, propping myself against the shore with wobbly arms. I cough a lot, feeling the need to get liquid out of my lungs. I feel like death. Feeling that I should clear my eyes a bit better, I position myself facing the water and slowly wash my face with whatever water's there. Tastes salty. Eventually, I'm able to open my eyes and see fairly clearly, and I sit facing out towards the huge green expanse. I remember what happened in the back of my mind, but I don't want those memories to come to the surface. What's done is done. I couldn't do anything about it anyway. I don't even know how I'm alive. I lost hold of the buoyant object I was holding on to a long time ago. I don't know how long it's been. Despite myself, the memories of the event echo louder in my mind. In an effort to stop them, I hold my head and shut my eyes tight. I breathe. And after a time, I look back out to the ocean. I'm breathing too. I'll try to, when you're on stage or something and you have like an instinct to hold your breath. It's unnatural to like fight that, but like I need to like breathe. This is quite a long story actually. So I might breathe and cough and take some time to pause and stuff, but let's continue. It's so peaceful right now. I can't help but feel insulted by that fact. My body feels physically hollow. I remember being hungry and thirsty at sea, but at this point my body's given up reminding me of those things. I'm glad to not be reminded of thirst and hunger so much, but that's very clearly a bad sign. I'm surprised I'm this coherent mentally after all this time. I should get up. I feel the urge to stay here and rest, but in the back of my mind I know that if I do, there's a possibility that I may not wake up again. I shiver, but whether I do so because of the thought or because of my skewed senses, I can't say. Come on, get on your feet. You can do it. I stumble to my feet and fall forward into the water. I take a moment to pick myself up with my arms again before I drown in the shallows. That was pretty close. It's a good thing I tried this here where I could fall into water. It's not so bad. I don't I didn't fall against rocks or anything. Good. I don't know how frail my limbs are right now, so it's probably a good idea to not catch myself firmly unless I have to. I don't want anything to break. That would be really bad. If I'm worried about falling again, I can always crawl. Even a baby can crawl. I'm not so poorly off I can't manage that. I crawl, turning to face the shore and sit for a moment in the water, washing my face again to look at my surroundings. Encoding overloaded? That's probably fine. A forest is directly in front of me and I see no signs of any paths. Also, there seem to be boulders. Also, there are some boulders nearby that seem to be pretty rich in some kind of ore. Iron, maybe? I don't know. The two facts make me feel nervous. No pathways and plentiful ore make me think that people might not have discovered this island. If that's the case and I'm the only one here, I should change my immediate plan to one of survival rather than one of searching for help. In fact, I don't notice any footprints in the sand either. As I think such things, however, I notice a structure in the corner of my eye. It's quite a distance away, on some hill above the trees. As I notice it, I don't know if I should be relieved or not. It's an ancient-looking castle. If it were any other structure, I'd probably be relieved, but this one in particular might still mean that this place is uninhabited. Pause in the sand. Well, it's best to try. It looks far but reachable. Let's see if I can stand. Nice and easy. If I can't, I can always crawl. There's no pressure. I slowly bring myself to my feet on wobbly legs and hold my stance for a time. Feeling a slight smile come to me and satisfied that I'll at least be able to cover some ground like this, I start to walk toward the forest and the castle. I'll just try to stay away from the boulders. I don't want to fall on them. I think this background turned out really nice. I like the I like the colors, and I like the I just think it turned out quite nice. I know it has like a bit of a rough look to it, but still. Very careful to not trip on any roots, rocks, or uneven terrain. I continue slowly moving through the forest. The trees obscure the castle so often, and I'm focusing so much on my immediate surroundings that I worry about going in the wrong direction. But I remember that the castle is on a fairly obvious hill. Even if I get turned around, I'll probably be able to find it again, if I can find my way to a clearing or even to another shore. Besides, in the back of my mind, I know that people who are unsure of themselves in situations like this can second guess themselves so much that they become lost. If I just try to keep going in a straight line rather than... If I just try to keep going straight rather than turning this way or that way, I'll at least end up somewhere and not wander in circles. I never thought I'd be in a situation where I actually had to rely on that common sense. Now that I'm actually in this situation, I confess that it's not as obvious as I thought it was when I was safe at home. Eventually, I become aware that the terrain is sloping upward. It's a very good sign. However, I'm not even used to walking on relatively even ground, and being forced to climb a hill at this point can be really dangerous. Especially if I consider the possibility that I might start rolling downhill. I climb very slowly and take frequent breaks, sitting and crawling as I try to continue up the hill. Every bit of distance I cover feels like a victory. Every step or crawl forward is ground gained that I'll never have to worry about again. It's a very long journey to the castle, but as I approach it, I hear the sound of people. It encourages me so much. This place isn't abandoned. I still see no people, but I start to see the top of the castle as I approach an area with thin trees. When it's finally within reach, I muster my strength and run to it over a gravel path. We've made it to the castle. Look, there's the tree. I like how the portcullis looks, and you can see in the background that that's the gravel path he was talking about, and the bushes and grass and stuff. That's cool. There's more detail too, but it's hidden by the tree. The portcullis is closed, but modern metal double doors have been built into the original structure. Both have gaps in them. I'm sure if I needed to, I could call out for help right now. However, if I can just manage to open the door, then it won't come to that. I see two girls near an apple tree just beyond the gate. I start to feel slightly self-conscious at the sight of the girls. I must look like a zombie right now. Despite my weakened state, however, the door isn't locked and I'm able to open it easily enough. I step onto the cobblestone threshold of the castle and the eyes of one of the girls grow wide for an instant as she looks at me. Oh, I'm not going to spoil who this is because it takes him a while to figure out who it is. And I'm not going to spoil who her assistant is either. That's coming later. It's not even in this section of the game, so I'm going to not even say. How about that? You don't even get to see her right now. It's just this character. Doesn't she look cute? I think she looks cute. Anyway, the next instant she's come to my aid and has helped me into a nearby bench. It's the bench that you saw over here. You see? It's one of these benches by the gate. Okay. With all the excitement, I feel my heart pounding. With all I've gone through and the fact that a girl's seeing me like this, I feel myself grow hot and try to stop myself from throwing up after all the exertion. Darn it, I think I'm naked on top of everything. I breathe and try to talk to her. I breathe and try to. Sorry, just a second. I breathe and try to talk to thank her, but I can't and end up coughing again. She turns to her friend and instructs her. Get some bread and water and a blanket. Maybe I should do a voice. My goodness. I don't think I've ever tried to do voices. I've never even like read anything like this. People do voices. People always do voices. Oh, she's so cute. What voice would she have? I've got such like a manly masculine voice. That's not how manly masculine men talk. What voice do I give her? Oh, look at her cute little outfit. She's got like the baby blue and the white. I made it so that like the flower looks like the flower up there on the bush. You see? It's the same sort of color and shape. Okay. I don't know what. I'll just try a random voice. I don't know how to voice act, man. I'm not a voice actor. Get some bread and some water. That doesn't sound right. What do I do? Um, I guess I'll just read. Get some bread and some water and a blanket. Her friend takes a moment to register what's going on before running to fetch what's needed. I have to speak. I try again. Thanks. She gives me a small smile filled with some pity. It's fine. What happened? Storm. Boat. She thinks for a moment on my few scrambled words, but finds their meaning very quickly. You were on a boat? It was hit by a storm, and you washed up on the shore like this? I nod weakly, and she pauses. The last storm we saw was 4 days ago. It's a miracle you're alive. 4 days ago. A miracle. I don't know how long it's been, but she's right. It must have been days. And she's right that it's a miracle, too. I have no idea how I slept completely naked and adrift on the open ocean without drowning. God must have helped me sleep on my back or something. I don't know. I just can't see how I could survive through that. And even if there is a logical explanation that someone could think up given time, it really was a miracle. I'm just glad I'm not dead. Ah, thank you. She takes the blanket from her friend as she returns and covers me with it. Then she helps me drink the glass of water her friend gives her. I drink it, and with each sip, I feel significantly better. By the time I finish the glass, her friend has disappeared again, and I take a moment to cough once more. The girl gives me a loaf of bread that I hadn't seen until now, and I start eating it. As I do so, her friend returns with a pitcher of water, and the two girls refill my glass and help me drink more. I want to talk more, especially to thank her assistant, but I feel so weary right now. Tell the head lady that we have someone who's washed ashore. He might have been adrift for 4 days or more. She nods and obediently goes to. She nods and obediently goes as my main attendant turns to me again. We'll take it from here. You don't have to say anything else. I want to thank them both and insist that she's overreacting, but to do the latter seems like it would simply be foolish. Thank you, and your friend. She gives me another small, sympathetic smile. You're welcome. I'll let her know you thanked her too. I close my eyes at her confirmation. Now rest. At her words, almost like she cast a spell, I immediately fall asleep. I remember nothing else of the courtyard, the castle, or of the girls. I don't remember being carried anywhere or, well, anything else. I just remember sleeping a very deep sleep. I'm just glad to have food, water, and to be on dry land. I can sleep without worrying about drowning. And I can sleep without worrying that I'll pass away at all, let alone on some unknown shore far away from any living soul. I'm not alone anymore. And while I was once at death's door, I now find myself in no danger. I think that's why I sleep so deeply. And I'm also thankful to have no bad dreams tonight. My thoughts are simply blank until I finally wake up. After an unknown period of time, I wake in a dark room. I don't know how long I've been asleep, but it seems to be the middle of the night, judging from the natural light. I close my eyes and continue to rest, taking in this reality. I'm alive. It's very refreshing to feel the sensation of stability under me while I rest. There's no sense of danger here. It's been replaced with a sense of calm. I also find it comforting that this place is a castle. It was built long ago and has stood since ancient times, even so near the sea. The walls and floor beneath me are sturdy and aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The room remains stationary and silence continues to resonate throughout it. I softly stir in bed and enjoy the peace and quiet. I become aware that I'm clean, in clean sheets and in clean pajamas. Someone must have washed me and clothed me while I was unconscious. As I think these things, I picture the girls who helped me. Even though it was out of necessity, if a girl did such a thing, I can't help but blush. I'm glad that I'm well enough to blush about girls. After a time, however, I become aware that I'm hungry, thirsty, and need to go to the restroom. Come to think of it, after sleeping adrift for several days, I'm glad I didn't wet the bed. My body seems to still know the difference between the open sea and a dry bed. I'm glad for that. I know that's sort of like an awkward thing to bring up, but he was adrift for days in the ocean. So I felt like it was something that maybe I should bring up, even though it's a little bit awkward. You know what I mean? Let's continue. Well, I'm sure I'll be able to solve all of these problems. They're small now that I'm once again among the living. And while I do feel the need to tend to these problems, I can still take some time. My body feels considerably better than it did before. The girls fed and watered me and I fell asleep. Uh, the girls fed and watered me before I fell asleep, and I find it very likely that they tended to my needs while I was asleep too. That would explain why I'm feeling so good, all things considered. I probably needed to be awake to eat and drink what they gave me, but after doing so, I probably fell back into my deep sleep and simply forgot. I paused for a moment, thinking back. I try to remember some details. It's hard and takes time, but eventually a scene of a young girl talking to me while she bathes me comes into mind. I don't remember seeing anything. I just remember the sound of her voice and the sensation of her washing me. I try to place the voice, and while I could be wrong, I think it was the voice of the girl at the gate. It was. Okay. Isn't she nice? That's such a nice thing to do. Okay. I think she was saying something about her sister and that her name was Olia or something. That's really close. That's really, really close. That's about one letter off. After a few more moments of trying to remember, I slowly get out of bed and try. Oop, I slowly get out of bed onto my now less wobbly legs and grope for a light switch. Come to think of it, does this place have any electricity? I have no doubt that the main castle is ancient, but there were modern additions made to it, like the double doors built into the portcullis. Eventually, I find the switch, flick it on, and the room is bathed in light. I'm gonna just go get some water. I'll be right back. It turns out having water on hand is important if I am doing a Let's Play where I'm reading for long periods of time. You know what? Up until now, basically, I've just been doing those weekly update videos. And to be honest, like recording those takes like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or something. So this is like gonna be a way longer thing. I should really get some water. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. I still don't know what electrolytes are, baby. There's something. I don't think they are in my water, though. I think my water's just water. Aw, yeah. I guess it's in like lemon juice, right? That sounds right. I've heard that it's related to salt, but clearly, like, it's not like salt, right? Because salt water doesn't actually quench your thirst. So let's continue on. I eventually find the switch, flick it on, and the room is bathed in light. I'm just getting a bit more comfortable. Okay. Ancient stone bricks of yellowish color greet me as I look around the place. Uh, this background, I just sort of wanted. It's not glamorous, but it's not supposed to be. The sheets, I have sheets that are this sort of color, this like blue. I thought they looked nice on the bed and stuff, but this background kind of reminds me of Hisao's bedroom a little bit in Katawa Shoujo. Um, which is literally just like here's some blank walls and a bed, job done. You know what I mean? It's like what else is there to say? This is just where he sleeps. Like, I don't know. Okay. Doing so, I also find several apples, a tall glass of water, and a note. I take one of the apples and eat it eagerly as I read. Please make please wake me when you wake up, day or night. I'm in the room across from yours. Also, the bathroom is the first door on your left. Abby. Between these three things, Abby seems to have thought of everything. In fact, she also thought to share her name with me, so she thought of more than I did. After finishing my apple and having some water, I quietly step out of the room and go to the bathroom. I think that's a pretty nice looking bathtub. Uh, it turned out pretty well. I've never drawn a bathtub before. I like the colors of this as well. It's like a lot of the time when I draw stuff, I like to have sort of like rainbowy, like hints just sort of around, just nice colors. After doing my business, I look around the bathroom and try to remember more of what happened between the girl and I. Seeing the room does help my memory, and I start to remember more bits and pieces. The girl washed me and made small talk to me. She seemed comfortable talking with me even though I was barely conscious. She thought making conversation with me would help me feel more comfortable. I can't say whether or not it made me feel comfortable at the time, but it certainly makes me feel more comfortable now. I put my hand to my heart as I remember the more intimate time, as I remember more of the intimate time. Once again, I know it was simply done out of necessity, but the girl undressed me, washed me, and clothed me, all while making me all while making idle talk to me and trying to make me feel at ease. And on top of that, she's rather cute. I can't help but feel this way. I'm glad to have this half memory. Speaking of cute, okay, so here's a spoiler, right? Quote unquote spoiler. Like almost everyone, if not everyone, I mean, depending on your taste, everyone is cute. All of the girls are cute. I like drawing. I like cute things. I like drawing cute. I want the girls are gonna be all cute. Have you seen the friggin' it's an old sketch, but like have you seen the picture of Alicia? Like I'm gonna update how she looks a little bit and stuff, but man, she's so cute. What a little cutie. Everyone's cute. Okay. I haven't even drawn. Oh, I already mentioned a character that wasn't mentioned yet. Uh, anyway, I'm gonna continue on. After another look at the bathtub with a vague memory of Olia's one-sided conversation to me echoing in my ears, I exit the room and knock on Abby's door. I suppose Abby and Olia might be sisters. After a moment or two of silence, I knock again. I'm probably waking her, but I don't. But I want to respect her and her note. I eventually hear her stirring in the room, and a cute girl opens the door, slightly disheveled and in her pajamas. Oh! Oh my goodness. Look at her. Both of her hands took a while. They're both in particular poses, you see. Usually people don't. Some people really have trouble drawing hands. It really just takes some practice. And what's nice is you have references. You have two references on you at all times. If you don't, then I am sorry. But most people do. So just take one of them and put a pen in it, and take another one and pose it and draw what you see. That's how you get better at hands. Da 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 da. Life hack, art hack. There you go. Okay. In fairness, like I feel like I'm pretty good at drawing hands. I drew every once in a while. I'm like, yeah, that's a good looking hand, and then I'm like, somehow it doesn't look right though, and I realize that I accidentally flipped it. Like in this case, her right hand, I accidentally drew like as her left hand, and it's like, oh no, that's not right. So I had to correct it. Uh, okay. As she blinks, I notice her pajamas are the same color as her eyes. They are. See? Okay. Okay. I can't help but feel like the colors look. I can't help but feel like the color looks nice with her skin tone. If she is Olia's sister, I see the resemblance between them right away. Yeah. So they're sisters, right? So I wanted to make sure that they were both the same sort of skin tone because they're sisters. I mean, technically speaking, I guess they could have different skin tones, but I feel like that would be kind of confusing to be like, how does like if one of the parents is a certain skin tone and another parent is another skin tone, then like obviously, I've heard that it depends on the situation whether or not one of the children will be like of one skin tone or the other or mixed or what. So I don't really know how that works, but I just figured I'd make them both the same skin tone just for the sake of, you know, understanding that they're related. I don't know if purple hair is a natural uh gene. Okay. This is a spoiler, okay? Sort of. I just gave her purple hair because I wanted her to have purple hair. She doesn't dye her hair or anything, okay? I just wanted to give her purple hair because I wanted her to have purple hair. How's that work, right? Friggin' sometimes in anime and stuff, it's like, they have whatever hair colors they want. And then every once in a while, there's a character with another hair color, and they're like, oh, you dyed your hair. It's like, man, okay, I don't know what I'm on about. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna have some more water. Here's my water. Here's some ASMR. Clink, clonk, clink. Bing, bang, bump. Hmm. If she is Olia's sister, I see the resemblance between them right away. I realize that I should speak and remember that I haven't tried speaking since I woke up. I start to do so, hoping it won't be an issue. It probably won't be, though, considering I didn't have an issue eating or drinking. Hi, I saw your note. I'm glad to see that speaking isn't a problem for me on a physical level anymore, but I still feel rather awkward and at a loss for words. She smiles at me regardless. It's nice to see you awake. Are you feeling well? Did you use the bathroom? Ah, thank you so much for helping me and for your hospitality. Yeah, I'm feeling much better, and I used the bathroom. She seems happy at my words. We were worried about you for a while. You were sleeping for over 24 hours. I'm glad you're okay. She is about to say something more, but stops herself. It must have been hard. She looks away a little. I'm sorry if you've lost anyone, or even if you just got separated from people. I don't know your situation. But if you did lose anyone, then my condolences. Her words move me. I didn't realize I felt such strong emotion. But, of course I do. I suppose that's obvious. It would be inhuman of me to not feel like this. I nod meaningfully to her at her kind words and the feeling of. Oh, I nod meaningfully at her kind words and as the feeling of pain and loss sink into me. She looks at me sympathetically and takes a moment before speaking again. Would you like a meal? I nod once more. You probably shouldn't eat too much. If your body's used to having no food, then too much all at once could be bad for you, so I've heard. Oh, look how cute she is. Goodness gracious. I know I'm interrupting a lot. I hope it doesn't bother you guys too much. I just think she turned out really nice here. Uh, just a little tangent here. While I was drawing these different pictures of her, I noticed that her hair length was like a little bit inconsistent. So I had to like go back and try to make her hair the same length in all the pictures. I think she turned out pretty good. I like the sky in the background, hey? That's nice. Okay. I hope you don't mind this me being weird commentary. She leads me into a kitchen and flicks on its light as she talks. Still, I know you must be hungry. Eat however much you want, but be careful, okay? It's probably best to err on the side of too little than too much tonight. I feel very comfortable around her for some reason, to the point where it might be a little strange. I don't know why, but I feel like we have some kind of connection despite just meeting. Of course, she was probably also around me while I slept, but it's interesting to feel that she's more than a stranger. Thanks, Abby. She shows a bit of shock as I call her by her name for the first time, but she seems to remember that she wrote it on the note. It must be disorienting hearing someone call you by your name without verbally introducing yourself. Not wanting things to be one-sided, I introduce myself. Okay, so in the code, I have uh this is just a tiny tangent. Basically, I just have in the code you have the name of the person and then what they say next to it, right? So what I did was I have like Abby and uh Oli, short for Abby and short for her sister's real name. And I have a variable set where it's like Abby equals blank. And basically, I can just change the names to whatever I want and not even have to change how I write the script. So, right now, the name me is going to change to Ian. So that's cool. So Ian says, My name's Ian, by the way. And I still just write the script the same way. But now I like set the variable that it draws from to have the value of Ian. See, there you go. Same speaker here and here. It's nice to meet you. She smiles to me in a soft, tender way. Thanks. Nice to meet you too, Ian. She and I make some small talk as we get something for me to eat. Some mashed potatoes and gravy. I figure it's probably best for my stomach to mainly handle softer foods right now. Thankfully, Abby Thankfully, Abby already has food ready for me in the fridge and simply heats it and microwaves it for me. Heats it in the microwave for me. Naturally, she would have food ready for me in this situation, but I'm still thankful. She's considerate. When it's done being heated, she hands it to me and I sit at the table and eat. Wanting her own bite to eat, she heats herself what seems to be an egg salad of some kind, pours herself some milk, and sits down with me when her food is ready. Man, uh, have you ever had like just a really good egg salad? Like, some people don't like it, and I get it. But like every once in a while, I'll have like a sandwich that's like egg salad sandwich. And sometimes you're just like, you know what I mean? Okay. Then we go about feeding ourselves. Mashed potatoes and gravy can really hit the spot sometimes. And the considerate girl across from me seems to enjoy her meal as well. When we're both done our meals and have had some water, she looks at me with gently probing eyes. It makes me feel uncomfortable as her gaze becomes more intense. But I suppose this happens. I don't suppose this happens often. It's only natural to try to assess the character of someone like me considering our respective positions. I have the impression that she's the head lady of this castle. I seem to remember Olia mentioning that I'd be taken to someone with that title. It's probably good to question the character of someone in your castle. Having eaten and drank, my immediate needs have been tended to. For the first time in a long time, I don't have to worry about them. It's an odd feeling. I'm glad I don't have to worry about them anymore, but there's an emptiness in their place. I've been thinking about my immediate needs pretty much non-stop for days now. Without those worries, I'm at a loss for what to do or think about. And then I can't help but feel the reality of my situation dawn on me. I find it very doubtful that anyone else made it through that storm alive. I probably don't have any family anymore. Even so, should I try going home? Why? There's nothing for me there anymore. No family to speak of. Just to go back to my old house and ransack it for material items. I don't have any money. I don't own anything anymore. Not even the pajamas I'm wearing. If I tried to go back home, I'd be living off of the charity of others. I'm not so proud as to deny people's charity, but hey, Abby's voice interrupts my thoughts. She looks away from me a little and, after a moment, looks back with more strength. I want to show you something. Can you walk? Oh, I, I don't. I think so. I could walk here. She seems glad at this, even though it's information she already knows. Do you think you'd be able to climb stairs? The idea takes me off guard more than it should. I I don't know. Maybe. She considers this. There's a banister, and I could walk in front of you. If you start to fall, you could hold on to me. I nod, my mind vague with thoughts. She leads me by the hand to a metal door, opens it, and we ascend an ancient spiral staircase. Oh, she's so cute here too. I like the picture of her sitting at the kitchen table too. But some of these other pictures are like, oh, so cute. The reason I wanted to make the visual novel like this instead of traditionally with like sprites in the background is just because this way I can pretty much draw whatever I want. And also, it gives me more opportunities to draw. So you know, I feel like it'll help like strengthen my art skills as I make the visual novel, just having to draw. Like, I'm not drawing too much, but whenever there's some sort of a unique scene, I can just draw the characters again and the scene again. Anyway, thankfully we reach the top without much issue. Abby sits at the roof of the staircase and lets her legs dangle gently just above the steps as I take in the top of the ancient spire. It's beautiful. Looking back to her, I see her looking at me again. After a moment, she slips onto the staircase and ascends the few steps, joining me at my side. I come here to think sometimes. It helps me clear my head. I can see why. Oh, that starry night looks pretty nice, eh? I hope I don't think I'm like congratulating myself too much or anything. Uh, Even if this was drawn by other people, I'm just happy with how it turned out. Like if something's pretty or cute, no matter who drew it, I'm just like, oh wow, cool. But yeah, I hope that doesn't strike you as me being selfish or something. Anyway, the both of us go quiet for a time, and the both of us go quiet, and for a time, there's simply the sounds of the wind. Looking down from between the Merlons, I can just make out someone else enjoying the night on the castle wall below us. A whitish speck against the somewhat darker background of the castle stone. When I look back to Abby, she's looking at me very intently, but I don't feel hostility coming from her. When she speaks, she hits what's been on my mind. You have a home? The simple, pointed question hurts. But I'm glad that it was said rather than left hanging. I look away between the Merlons again to avoid eye contact and let out a small sigh, shaking my head. No. An equally simple response. Even though I'm not facing her, I continue to feel her eyes on me. A long silence passes between us, filled with nothing but the wind. Then I feel her eyes off me again as she looks out another crenelle. I thought that might be the case. So, just so you guys are aware, the little squiggly square pattern on the top of castle walls, uh, are made up of crenelles and merlons. The merlons are the large pieces of cover. Oh, sorry if you can hear my heater going. Uh, the crenelles are the spaces between the merlons where you can look out. I think together they're called crenellations. So when he's talking about merlons and crenelles, the crenelles are the spaces between the merlons, and the merlons are the cover. Okay. I live with someone who's really into like learning about medieval history and castles. So I kind of just absorbed this, but I did have to look it up because I didn't want to be wrong. That's a nice night sky. I thought that might be the case. I haven't known you long, but she holds her tongue at the last moment, as if out of instinct. Then lets out a sigh of her own and continues. There are people, Ian, who hide their true evil natures for superficial lengths of time to manipulate others and get what they want. I never want to think that someone is a person like that, but I know they exist. I've met them before. I want to instinctively trust you and allow you to live here with us, but I understand. No, you don't. We look back to each other, away from the castle below. She looks sad. Ian, I don't like being harsh with anyone. In fact, I hate it. I've just found myself in a position where I have to be just that at times. Otherwise, some people will do whatever they want, even if it's bad. I sympathize with you more than I can say. I just wish I knew you well enough to let you in without scrutiny. Being stern feels weirdly inhuman to me, at least when I act like this. She shakes her head. I don't feel like myself. Silence falls between us, with her thinking and me having nothing I can say. Would you like to stay with us? Yes. I say this quietly, and even I can hear the hints of fear and despair in my answer. She looks me over harshly again, focusing on my face and looking me up and down. You aren't a wolf in sheep's clothing, are you? Trust me, Ian. I may be soft, but if you cause trouble, I'll have no qualms with throwing you out. You'll be on your own in the world without anything to your name and no home. So you best behave. Otherwise the door will close on you and that will be the end of it. Understand? The passion of her words hits me hard. I'm left intimidated as she stares me down, expecting an answer. She doesn't relent. Well, I'll behave. I don't want to be a wolf in sheep's clothing either. After a time, the air slowly settles between us, and her warped expression of fire and hardness relaxes. Well then, she says gently, you can stay with us. Ian? Despite myself, I find myself crying with my face in my hands on her tower. She approaches my bent-over form as I do so and strokes my back gently. It's okay, Ian. It's over. You're safe now. I cry harder at her words. She stays with me for a long time as I sob and slowly calm down. Want to go back inside? I nod. Okay. Don't worry if you fall on me, alright? I can handle it. She leads the way back down the stairs until we re-enter her home. Why are you being so nice to me? I don't even have anything. I can't pay you money or anything. She gives me a very particular, gentle smile. As long as Olivia and I have been here, people have never needed to pay to stay here. Olivia? She nods. My sister. Now, I'm going back to bed. If you're hungry, help yourself to anything in the fridge. Are you going to sleep too? You're free to sleep or stay up, whatever you think. Still slightly taken aback by everything, I try to answer. I'll probably go to sleep soon. Okay. Sweet dreams, Ian. God bless you. She holds my hand for a moment before departing down the hallway back towards her room. Back to her room. Ah, God's blessed me already. I look out the window. I look out the kitchen window to the dark landscape of the place I've washed onto. To think I'm here and not dead at sea. What a true blessing that is. After a moment, I depart down the hallway as well and look out the large window at the end. As I do so, I try to see if I can catch sight of the person who was a white speck against the castle during our time on the tower. To my surprise, I do catch sight of that solitary white blob, now in a different place against the stone. I wonder who it is that wanders the castle at night. I suppose I live here now, and as such, I can probably meet them sometime. White as a ghost and gazing at the stars. I gaze at the stars myself. They are beautiful tonight. The skies here are so clear, you can see so many of them. After heating and eating another plate of mashed potatoes and gravy, I find myself going back to my room. Eventually, though it takes time, sleep does come. When I awake, I feel stunned looking at the stone ceiling above my head. It takes me a moment to remember where I am and how I came to be here, but even when I do, I feel a sense of strange fear and paralysis, as though I don't want to ruin anything by my slightest action. Diffused light shines through the room's closed drapes. It must be it must be sometime in the morning. Though, morning of the next day or the day after, I'm not sure. I'm not going to ruin anything. And even if I do ruin something, it'll be okay. I can't let this feeling hold me down. This place isn't going to collapse anytime soon, remember? But it's not the structure I'm worried about. It's Abby and her sister, Olivia. I fear that I'll somehow make them hate me. I don't feel this way because of what Abby said last night. Rather, they're just very kind people and I don't want them to hate me. Maybe I have abandonment issues after what happened to me. I don't know. I just know the thought that I could make them hate me makes me feel sick. I take note of my breathing and try to breathe slowly and steadily. It's okay. Calm down. I try to take my own advice and continue to breathe, slowing down my pace as I do so. After a time, I notice how silent the room is and I feel it weigh down on me. But I find its weight comforting, as though it's a reminder that time goes on and that, regardless of my emotions, the world isn't made of glass. Glad for this weight. After some time, I get to my feet. All the care I've had over the last day or two, and all the food and rest I've had seem to have helped me physically recover very much. My legs are only the slightest bit wobbly. I think I can manage walking pretty much anywhere. Indeed, I didn't even have trouble with the stairs last night. I looked to the desk at Abby's notes. I looked to the desk that Abby's note was on last night. It's still there along with the remaining 2 apples she left for me. The sight gives me some grounding. There'd probably be another note if I'd slept another day. So I think this is simply the next day, and I haven't missed a day. I'm glad for that. When I need to rest, I'm glad my body takes the rest that it needs. But I don't want to get used to the concept of full days slipping through my fingers. Come to think of it, I should probably take a shower. After getting used to being awake, taking time to shower, and so on, I take one of the remaining 2 apples from my room and eat it in the kitchen while drinking some water. It's not long before Abby joins me, still wearing her pajamas and obviously sleepy. Once again, I find it charming how disheveled she looks. I suppose her choosing to be in her pajamas right now might mean she's comfortable around me in some respect, or that she simply doesn't feel that changing is important in her own home. Then again, maybe she just isn't much of a morning person, especially after getting woken in the middle of the night. As for myself, after showering, I noticed that I had some clothes and a pair of shoes in my room. I was rather surprised to find that they were all a perfect fit. Someone probably took my measurements while I was asleep. I can't help but blush as I once again remember Olivia tending to me the way she did. Abby notices my blush, blushes herself, and yawns slightly due to tiredness and perhaps in an attempt to hide some of her redness. Then she greets me with a small, tired wave before getting some food and joining me at the table. I've already eaten. The apple I'm munching on is just a snack. However, she does ask if I ate. It makes me feel happy that she cares enough about me to ask something like that. Abby nods at my confirmation and deshells her 3 hard-boiled eggs before eating them and sipping at a glass of milk to chase them down. She lets out a sigh of satisfaction after her drink. I like this picture of her especially. I think all of the pictures turned out nice, but I like this one. Her sitting at the kitchen table, uh, she looks more grown up than in other CGs, just a little bit. And I like her eyes closed like this. She looks really peaceful. However, I'm felt feeling slightly awkward. I've never been a very social person, and I don't know her that well. That combined with our respective positions makes me feel like it's difficult to start a conversation with her apropos of nothing. However, if I don't say something, then the line of conversation will likely go in the direction of the situation I'm in again. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, and it makes sense for conversations to go in that direction, but I suppose conversations only about me feel one-sided. Just getting comfortable here. Abby seems to notice my discomfort. I'm sorry about your situation, Ian, but I hope you'll enjoy living here. I hope you weren't too worried about what I said last night. As long as you aren't a villain, we really will have no problems. To be honest, I wish we could have met under more normal circumstances. Most people living here are from a developing city on the island, and are just here because they choose to be here. So I'm sorry that your situation is a more drastic one. It doesn't seem fair. I shake my head a bit. I don't expect any kind of special treatment. Even as I say those words, though, they feel foolish. She looks at me for a moment. Then, after a time, she speaks. I think I understand how you feel. She smiles a bit. Well, I'm not really opposed to that idea altogether, but if you ever want to talk or something, it's okay. She looks at me for a quicker moment. I see. Well, you staying in the keep is only a temporary thing. Today I think you should get used to the castle and get to know some people around here. Get to know some people here, rather. The people here tend to be rather friendly, but there aren't many in our age group. I'll talk about why that is. Well, it'll become clear why that is later in another part of the game. Still, it would be nice for you to meet some people and make some friends. We have some houses that aren't claimed yet. Tonight you and I can pick one for you. Ah, thanks. She gives me a small smile. Ian? I give her my attention. Please don't push yourself. After a quiet time, I nod in response. Hey, Abby? As she gives me her attention, I think to ask if what she's interested in. However, I feel like that might come across as rude. Even though that fear is pretty irrational, I also don't know what specific interest I'd ask about, so I just say the first thing that comes to mind, other than that. Last night there was a really pale figure on the grounds wandering around alone. The news doesn't seem to surprise her. Ah, very pale, you say? I nod in response as she pours herself some milk from a glass pitcher and takes a sip. As she does, she offers me some. I accept her offer, sliding her my glass as she pours me some. Then I take a sip myself. My eyes widen at how remarkably thick it is. I suppose I am a city boy suddenly in the country. The milk here is probably straight from cows and not thinned at all. It's much more substantial than what I'm used to. I can imagine getting full drinking this milk alone. I can imagine how cakes and other foods would taste made from such a thick milk. Abby seems to notice my surprise and grins a bit before answering my question. Well, if they were wearing all white, were very pale, had white hair, and were all alone at night, then that might be Alicia. Alicia? She nods. She likes the night. From what I understand, she has a serious skin condition that prevents her from going out during the day, so she usually only goes out at night. Excuse me. It was even night when she asked if she could live in the castle. The barely baked theory of the figure being a ghost springs to mind again. But if she is some sort of supernatural being, then I suppose this would better describe a vampire. It's a silly idea anyway. But the idea that a vampire might lurk in this ancient structure does spark the imagination. Although, even if vampires do exist, surely she wouldn't have needed to ask Abby to live here if she's been on the island since ancient times. But I suppose it would be a good idea to go through proper channels to avoid suspicion in such a small community. Looking over, I see Abby smirking at me. And yes, she does have red eyes. This gets her eyes out of me and she giggles. I thought the same thing. She isn't though, right? Well, I never tested it, but come on. Ah, if she were a vampire, then she wouldn't have been able to meet you in the castle unless you invited her in. She raises an eyebrow at me. I see. Well, I'll have you know that we encountered each other while I was in the orchard, not the castle. Garlic? Never tried it. Crosses? Never tried that either. But oh my. I didn't know you were such a little gossip, Ian. You aren't causing trouble, are you? I worried too much about her words as she giggles and waves a dismissive hand. It's fine. Just don't go trying to hurt her. Sometimes it's fun to talk about things like this. I guess it's okay as long as nothing escalates. In fact, she's the kind of person who might find the idea quaint. She seems to really like stories. Her body really does disagree with sunlight, though. Don't try to force her outside. And don't badger her. I feel sorry for her sometimes, not being able to go out in the day. Sometimes I see her with a large hat and sunglasses, but she starts to burn up really badly even when she does that. I think she wears white because it reflects the most sun. But I don't want to gossip. If you want to talk with her, then you can just talk with her. She likes to read a lot, in the library. You'll probably be able to find the library, it's rather obvious. Ah, another thing, she's very... She thinks about how to phrase things. Well, I don't know her that well, but she's very sweet. She seems romantic and a little bit dainty. Not to be pushed around, okay? I quickly nod. Of course, I would never hurt her. She spends her time in the library, hey? Abby sips her milk quietly. It's nice to see you in high spirits. Thanks. By the way, do you mind if I ask when you and Olivia got here? She goes quiet for a moment, in thought. You must have been 9 years ago now? Maybe 10? Her answer is remarkably short. I sort of expected her to go more into it, but she remains silent. I can't tell if it's a touchy subject or if she simply thought she answered my question. Well, of course, she did answer my question. I can't imagine. This must be quite a place to live. The silence grows thicker. Ah, it seems like it's a touchy topic after all. I drop it. I certainly don't want to make her uncomfortable. Quietly, I drink more of my milk. And I drink more of my water. Have any of you guys made videos like this? How do you I guess just the more you do it, you get used to regulating your breathing and stuff. It really takes some getting used to. You might be surprised if you've never done it before. I'm not exactly that physically active, especially in the middle of a Canadian winter. Not exactly not exactly a time to go jogging or anything. I think this is a really cute song. And a really cute scene. Anyway. Although it's not all cute. I suppose it is a rather nice place. Hey, Abby, what do you like to do? I smile a bit as she seems startled at the sudden change of topic. I never really asked you anything about yourself last night. Do you have any hobbies or favorite things or anything like that? Oh, look at her little blush. After a moment, she blushes. Well, I don't really think about that very much. I don't really know what I like to do. Come on. You must have something you like, even if it's just a little thing. I won't make fun of you or anything if you're worried about that. Oh, no, no, I'm not worried. She thinks, still a little bit red. She seems to be finding this rather difficult. Maybe I should tell her some things I like to help break the ice. I know it's nothing exciting, but I've always liked looking at quartz or geodes, maybe that's what they're called. They're really pretty and I like collecting them from time to time. They look like normal stones, but they have crystals inside. I don't really know what they're called, but sometimes their crystals are different colors, and they look really nice. Sometimes I find a small one or two and put them on my dresser or on my desk. If I can, I'll sometimes place them where the sun will shine on them so they shine like prisms. Nothing terribly exciting, but it's kind of nice. It's kind of embarrassing talking with her about such a silly little thing. She looks at me quietly. I don't think I've ever come across any stones like that. That's okay. She continues to think. Still, I don't really know what I like. I guess from time to time, I like looking at ancient pieces of armor and broken swords that were left here. I don't know if that counts, though. Sure, it counts. I think that's cool. She seems happy with the simple conversation. Well, I'm not an expert on armor or anything. Excuse me again. A long time ago, I used one of the helmets to boil water because we didn't have a kettle. She smiles a bit at that. But I don't know anything in particular about them. I don't know if there are any records about the people, about this place or the people who built it. Sometimes I think about them, though. What were they doing here? Why was this castle built in the first place? What happened to them? The place was just abandoned, and yet there wasn't any, uh, real damage done to it. On top of that, it's a relatively small castle, and there's no other ancient structures on the island. She looks from her thoughts to me again. I guess that's something I used to do. I'd search the castle for other ancient structures. But I think I've covered most of the island by now. I haven't seen anything else. At this point, though we've been having a rather pleasant conversation, a shadow comes over her, as though something serious and deep disturbs her. The shadow is very dark and seems to have very deep roots. She stops talking, and I feel like I don't know her well enough to pry into this seemingly very personal matter. The two of us simply sit in silence, and I hope that the shadow will fade in time as we do. Whatever that terrible thing is, I pray she'll be free of it, someday sooner than later. By the way, Abby, I say cautiously, sometime later, thank you for the clothes and shoes. They're a perfect size. I know it might not seem like much, but I really had nothing. I wouldn't I wouldn't even be able to leave the keep if it weren't for these. So I really appreciate it. She nods slowly, seeming to hear my words from some far distance. Then a very little smile comes to her. I hope I can see her smile more than that in the future. it was important for you to have them. I knew that, but her vacant expression shows more emotion as she blushes, and and I feel her return from wherever she was. She brushes she blushes pretty easily. It's pretty cute. Though, considering what she's thinking about, I blush at the thought as well. Well, I know you don't know Olivia that much, but when something obviously needs to be done, she's the type to make sure it gets done. That's very true, by the way. So she made sure she washed. So she made sure you were washed and in pajamas. And she took your measurements and got your clothes from the city while I waited here just in case you woke up. She looks away with a red face as she says these things, but now she nods. It really is important for you to have these things. I'm glad you have them. She pauses for a moment, lost in thought, before letting out a slightly awkward, slightly cute laugh. Hmm? It seems like she's rather flustered as I tease her. I'd much rather her be flustered than depressed. Well, it'll be nice to walk around the castle. This has been nice. I like talking with you. She nods. I've liked this too. It's nice just talking about small things. I'm glad she feels that way. Yeah. I don't think I ever told anyone about liking those stones. Well, maybe I talked with my mom about it, but I keep that to myself. One can't exactly have a habit like that and keep it from their parents. All it takes is a glance into their room. I might go to the library today. Maybe I can meet Alicia. I guess I want to say thank you to Olivia, too. She and Abby really, really helped me out. Come to think of it, maybe I can thank the other girl, too. The one who fetched the bread and water. I wish I knew her name. I can probably ask Abby right now, but I'd rather discover it for myself or ask Olivia. I think Abby's in a pleasant place right now. I don't want to do anything to pull her into another line of thought. I quietly rise from my seat and we nod to each other. I guess it's clear that I'm heading out. Going out? Going out. I'm sure it's fine. We both planned that I'd mingle on the grounds a little bit today. Besides, Abby probably has duties to attend to. I don't want to keep her. Thanks, Abby. I'll see you tonight. She nods again. Yeah, I'll see you tonight, Ian. With that and a little more awkwardness on my part, I depart through the other door in the kitchen. Abby doesn't direct me where to go, so I can probably figure it out for myself. I close the door behind me and descend a stone staircase, the sound of my new shoes echoing slightly against the walls around me. I'm glad to know such a kind person. I don't really know where I'll end up wandering, but I suppose that's part of the fun. I certainly think I'm going to enjoy myself today. I really feel like a new man compared to when I first washed up here. Even though something terrible happened to me, I feel like I have the strength to enjoy my life and the company of these people. And that's it. This is just me saying thank you for playing the demo. Thank you for playing the first third of the demo. First third, not the full demo. Feel free to let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you? It's a weird reading my commentary while also doing a commentary. But yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like to keep up with the progress, I'm making visual novels, and you can check out my YouTube channel. Here's my YouTube channel. I post update videos every Monday. You guys know that, probably. I hope, maybe. You probably know that. I've made Monday videos every ding dang week for 6 weeks so far. I'm gonna keep ding dang doing it. So you guys could just. By the way, I, I, I'm not a hillbilly. I know I sound like one sometimes. Anyway, if you want, you can throw me some money. The game's on itch.io. On itch.io, you can download stuff, and this is just to pay for what you want, like pay however much you want. All of the parts of the demo are going to be free, but if you want, you can also donate some money to me. Whatever. Do that if you want. Have a nice day, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the visual novel. Thank you, me. I'm clapping. Oh, actually, this is how I wave sometimes. I like clap one hand. Is that weird? Anyway, yeah, that's it. I think I showed you, but there's the custom menus. If I go like this, there's my save file from when I was testing the game out and building it. Uh, yeah. And then I do this, and here's the quit menu. Just the nice night sky. Anyway, uh, main menu. Main menu, yes, please. Well, thank you for joining me today on I play my own visual novel and give commentary and act like a goose in front of the internet. I like how these stones turned out. Like that actually, like every once in a while I'd see like boulders with like ore like that, like huge veins of ore. And I really liked how that looked, so I'm cool that I could kind of capture that. It does look kind of similar to that. Uh, well, that's gonna be it. Um, I do make update videos every Monday on the visual novel I'm working on. Um, and now I'm gonna be working on part two of the demo. So that's gonna be really nice. I'm not gonna do another video like this for a while until that part of the demo is done. So it will take quite a bit longer, probably like a month and a little bit, or like around a month. I'll probably make another video like this when it's all done. Uh, when part two of three is done, and then another one when part three of three is done. But anyway, uh, thank you guys, and I'll see you in. I guess it's just gonna go back to normal update videos. So I'll see you next Monday. Uh, yeah. I guess if you want, maybe you can suggest like whether or not you'd like me to read some other visual novels that are like relatively short. Maybe I could do something else with this channel a little bit, like sort of interact with the community a bit more. I don't know. Uh, I feel like that'll help me grow and help the channel grow and help spread awareness for my games and stuff. And plus, it's just nice to like. I'm glad that the world works in such a way that it's like, hey, you scratch someone's back, someone scratches your back. It's like if you give a little bit to the community, people appreciate that. And like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking you could leave your thoughts in the comments or whatever, and I'll read them. I read the comments. I'm really, really small right now. I can read all the comments, okay? I'm not like at a billion subscribers. I'm sure like if I get like super huge, I probably won't be able to read all the comments, but like at this point it's like it's fine. I'll read all the comments as long as I can actually do it reasonably well. Okay. Well, I almost said I love you guys. I'm very used to talking to significant like to either my lovely girlfriend or my mom or my brother. so I'm used to saying I love you at the end of like talking. Anyway, bye you guys. I'll see you on Monday with the update on my progress on part 2 of the demo. I'll see you guys. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye. All right.